Here are my note cards, and here is my audience. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. All right. So ever since I was a kid, coffee has been a part of my life. I grew up with my mom always having her morning cup of coffee, and when she was done with it, she would let me have a sip or two. I always thought this experience was super special because it was seen as an adult drink in my mind. As I grew up, I began drinking coffee more and more, and eventually it became a part of my daily routine. I got my own preferences, such as I like it only cold and I like it with oat milk. And I even had it as a part of my job life. Recently, I got a job at my local coffee shop, and so I began learning more and more about the coffee process. This is extremely important to me because I'm a very curious person, and eventually my curiosity turned to my morning drink. So I decided to do a research project on coffee itself. Now, the origin of coffee isn't exactly known. There are many different legends and myths about where it came from, and my personal favorite comes from an Ethiopian legend. There is a story that a goat herder was on one of his rounds with his goats, and he noticed that his goats were consuming a bean. This made the goats very hyperactive. The goats weren't sleeping at night and were just roaming around. So he harvested the beans and took it to his local town. The local monastery took the beans and made a drink out of it. No surprise, the drink had the same effect on people that it did on the goats. And thus, the coffee drink was born. People drank it more and more. And now, because of this drink, we need to be informed about what kind of effects it's having on your body. There are many positive and negative effects that it has on your body. And it's actually a pretty complex drink in general. You make this drink by first roasting the coffee beans and then boiling water and roasting the coffee itself. This extracts the coffee and, more importantly, the caffeine from the coffee. Now, the caffeine in the coffee is what is responsible for many of the effects that you see in yourself. It keeps you awake, it makes you less anxious, it does a lot of things. And there's actually an analogy that I would like to use. When you put the caffeine in your body, when you drink coffee, the caffeine talks to your brain and sends out different hormones that have these different effects, and it can be both positive and negative. Now, according to dealsonhealth.net, there are approximately 150 million Americans that drink coffee daily. That's almost half of Americans. So it's very important that people understand what's happening to their bodies when they drink this coffee. Now, according to Frank Hu, who works at Harvard School of Public Health, he states that in the past, people thought, oh, this drink is too delicious to have any positive effects. Now, this simply isn't true. In recent research, he found that coffee is related to several beneficial effects on positive physical health. This includes effects on diabetes, liver disease, and heart disease. Now, not only does it have beneficial effects on your physical health, it can also affect your mental health as well. It can be found with helping with alertness, attention span, as well as decreasing symptoms found in depression as well as ADHD. Now, there are two sides to this coin. While you can find many beneficial effects, there can also be harmful consequences as well. Some of the negative effects include dehydration. It can raise your heart rate. It can give you dizziness and even shakiness. Now, it is recommended that you receive no more than 400 milligrams of caffeine per day. This is a very fine line for people who drink multiple cups of coffee today. And Medline Plus says that it can affect people with anxiety as well as other panic disorders. It doesn't trigger the disease, it more of heightens the symptoms that are already there. Think of it as taking someone who has a phobia of clowns to a circus. The circus doesn't cause the fear necessarily, but rather heightens its effects. Now, everything being said, hopefully you have a better understanding of what coffee actually does to you. Coffee can have both medicinal and harmful effects, and today we learned the science and the risks and rewards of coffee. Coffee has been an influential part of my life as well as half of America. Now, after everything you've learned today, will you make coffee a part of your daily routine? Thank you.